Erasmus has officially announced his side to take on Italy this weekend, and he has made some massive changes, wholesale changes, really. Positional switches, no hooker on the bench, for example. There is a hooker in the starting lineup at center as well, with Rassie kind of almost rolling the dice with a couple of interesting positional changes. But if we look at the side, in the front row, Zachary Portland returns and will partner. Handre gets his first start of the year. He is next to Bowen Venter, who will get another opportunity to start. It's a brand new lock pairing in Jean Klein and Franco Mostert, who gets the nod in the 4-5. Siya Kolisi retains the number 6 jersey. Ben Jason Dixon will take over in the number 7, with Marco van Staden named in the number 8 jersey, and is also going to be covering hooker with no Malcolm Marx in the side. Moodie van den Berg does start next to Handre Pollard in one of the few expected sort of changes to the side. Arendse keeps his jersey, but he will have a new wing partner in Edwill van der Merwe on the other side. Ethan Hooker will get his first taste of Springbok centre action when he starts in the number 12 jersey. He's got Canan Moodie outside him in what could be the start of a very long future Springbok centre partnership. Damian Willemse does retain the number 15 jersey. Off the bench, as mentioned, no hooker, so just 2 front row replacements on the bench in Gerard Stennekamp and Wilco Low. We've then got Archias Neyman, Ruanokia, Andre Esterhuizen once again listed as a forward. Kwagga Smith is back from injury and goes onto the bench. You've then got Grant Williams as well as Mani Liebach in what is a very interesting side. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Because, yeah, I mean, not the side we kind of really thought we'd see, for example, and this is kind of what it looks like. So let's kind of get through it, and I want to know what you think, again, in the comments below, and let me know what your sort of surprise selections are. Because I think in the front row, you know, we probably thought Johan Grobbelaar might start, quite one of the easier ones. Zachary Portland getting another opportunity is a big shot, because this Italian side is not a bad side at all. You know, there are some top class players in it, and they beat Australia last week. So, you know, to a certain degree, there was always going to have to be some experience across the team, and we're seeing that, to be fair. Very important to think that Franco Mostert, for example, the number 5 jersey, you know, he'll sort out the lineouts, because there's not a lot of line options. It's basically Jean Klein, Franco Mostert, and then Ben Jason Dixon. So they've gone with the experience of Franco Mostert, the number 5 jersey. Probably could have gone Ruanokia, who knows Johan Grobbelaar really well, but continues to try and use him off the bench. Jean Klein, his first opportunity in a box shirt this year. Very overdue, really. He just keeps getting injured whenever it comes to playing for the box, but he will finally get a chance to have a bit of a run out, and then a big opportunity for Ben Jason Dixon. A player who last year I don't think really managed to grab his opportunity with 2 hands and really make it count, but someone who's been on the radar for a long time, is highly rated, and he will get his 6th appearance for the box in the first of this year. Interesting that Siya Kolisi retains the jersey, and interesting that then Marco van Staden's gone to the number 8. So we're starting to see really that the back row, you know, 6 and 8 is becoming quite interchangeable, in fairness. You know, we're seeing Siya Kolisi, who started at 8, Marco van Staden now starting at 8, Marco van Staden covering hooker in the second half, given the fact that there's no reserve hooker. And then it's an interesting backline, because you've got the experience of a Handre Pollard, Kurt Arendse, Damian Willemse. But apart from that, it's quite a young and new look backline. It's a brand new centre pairing, for example. I'm not sure if we've actually had Kurt Arendse with Edwill van der Merwe and Damian Willemse as a back 3, for example. So that's an interesting decision. But I think it's got everything you need. You know, I think it's got the experience of Handre Pollard at 10, the experience of Damian Willemse at 15, and that's going to allow, hopefully, Ethan Hooker and Canan Moodie the kind of experience they need and the environment they need to hopefully start what I think is going to be quite a productive centre pairing moving forward. I mean, it's, you know, these are players who, you know, we see playing for the box for the next 10 years. I mean, they're an average age. I mean, they're both 21, 22 years old. So they're going to be around the block for a long time to come. And I'm really looking forward to how they sort of play in each other. I think, obviously, it's very physical centre pairing. Ethan Hooker's massive, but also very quick. 2 players who have both been playing out on the wing mostly early in their block careers, now making the move to centre. Edwill van der Merwe in the number 14 jersey is an exciting pick. I'm a massive Edwill van der Merwe fan. I think if he gets more opportunities, I really think he could put pressure on Cheslin Colby and Kurt Arendse, much like we saw Ethan Hooker do. But Ethan Hooker, I think, as we know, a bit of a utility player, can play in the wing, can play in the centre. Edwill van der Merwe is an out-and-out winger. He's an out-and-out X-Factor type player. Morne van der Berg, the number 9, is a nice selection as well. And then Damian Willemse continues in the 15. What a bench this is. I mean, is this a 6-2? Is it a 5.5, 2.5, 3? What are we looking at? I mean, we've got no hooker cover on the bench. Absolutely none. No one there who's a designated hooker. We've got 2 locks, 1 flank, a hybrid flank type centre thing, but then also the constants that are Grant Williams, Moodie, Arendse Snyman. You know, we've reignited the bomb squad, but going with a bit of a different type of bomb squad. You know, we reignited the impact that these players have, but it's not necessarily a bomb squad in terms of just a massive, big forward pack coming on in the second half. It's more about bringing impact players on. You know, Wilco Low, you know, hammers the scrum later on the game. That's the impact he brings. Ruan Nokia isn't necessarily this big, bulky forward that kind of brings a physicality in the second half, but he brings a pace about him. He brings a mobility about him and a good skill set. Andre Esterhuizen, he's a bit more sort of brutal with the way he brings, but also he brings in a difference, you know, a point of difference with regards to playing in the centres, you know, and to carrying the centres and then packing down at the scrum and kind of doing that dual role. Kwagga Smith obviously brings a lot of pace to the game, as does Grant Williams and Moodie Reebok. So it's a very, with the exception probably of a Wilco Low, it's a very mobile pack that's going to come on in the second half. You know, the replacements, the bench or bomb squad is not a bomb squad in terms of size and physicality, but it really ups the ante. And it's amazing how we've now almost redefined the bomb squad with regards to we're going to run them off their feet. Not they're tired, we're going to run over them. It's we're going to completely up the ante as the game goes on, and you know, we're going to just keep going at them until they can't handle it anymore. And I'm a big fan of it. I really think that we've managed to really find a way of reintroducing that kind of impact that we saw back until 2019 and 2023, but we're not seeing it in the same way. So that's where the innovation continues to come. You know, your Andre Esterhuizen selection, I mean, that's a proper mobile, big, loose forward type of person to be able to bring on. He's got the pace of a backline player. He's the size of a flank. You know, Kwagga Smith is smaller than him, but again, look at the pace that all of those players bring. With the exception of Wilco Low, it's a very mobile and very pacey bench. So it's a very cool way of looking at it. In terms of some facts about the side, we've obviously only ever lost 1 game against Italy. In terms of some of the milestones, Arendse Snyman requires 1 more after this weekend to get to 50 caps. The last time we lost, or the only time we lost to Italy was 2016 in Florence, where we lost by just 2 points. It's the first time we're actually playing in Turin this weekend. The total caps for the Springbok lineup is 430. It's 193 in the back line, 237 among the forwards, mostly between Siya Kolisi and Franco Mostert. I mean, they'll have about 170, 180 of those 237. And there are 240 on the bench, most of which will come from the likes of a Kwagga Smith, an Arendse Snyman, for example. They'll probably make up about 100 of those. The average caps per player in the back line is 28. The forwards 30, while the players on the bench also average about 30. So it is a rotated side, a much younger side as well.